Wasabi guys, there was a massive leak yesterday, a whole bunch of product information, well at least just this picture right here, that I happened to snag from Saffron Olive. I happen to follow the guy on Twitter, so conveniently I was able to save this picture. It was apparently from the German website. They accidentally posted this information, which, I mean, again, conveniently, leaks just seem to happen all the time now. So I'm just going to be covering these 4 products that are going to be coming out this year. The first one we have is the signature spellbook Jace. So obviously the From the Vault series has just tanked. It's not good. People don't like it. It's not as good as it once was. You used to have cards like Soul Ring that looked awesome in the foiling process. Now the foiling process just looks terrible on a lot of the cards they choose to reprint. And I haven't really seen anyone with From the Vault transform cards. For all I know, that set just did terribly. And these are all WPN exclusives, so you have to imagine local game stores do not like having these just sitting on the shelf, not being able to sell them, having to give them away as incentives for tournament entries, because at some point that's all you can really do with these products. When you can't sell them, people don't want to buy them, what are you supposed to do? So what this product is essentially going to be $20 MSRP. Each product is going to have a Planeswalker, and that premium foiling, I can only imagine it's going to be just as bad, and then 8 cards that match the identity of that Planeswalker. So if it's Jace, I can only imagine you're going to have cards like Jace's Phantasm, Jace's Archivist, Jace's Ingenuity, all of these different cards that I guess it does match the identity, but even if it's something like a counter spell and that premium foiling, it's still not going to be that big of a deal. So the fact that it is a $20 MSRP, it's cheaper, but is it going to be better? Is it still going to be a WPN exclusive? Because they've been doing away with WPN exclusives, making them terrible with the Anthologies series, and not to mention giving iconic Masters to Walmart and Target, giving Masters 25 to Walmart and Target. So you're already screwing them over a little bit, making this even worse. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be better. It doesn't sound like you're just going to be putting amazing blue cards in this that match the identity of the Planeswalker. You can only put so much and still have it be a $20 MSRP. So is it just going to be a WPN exclusive Planeswalker deck? I don't know. Now, Battlebond is something I'm actually pretty excited for. And by the way, there isn't actually any link that I'm going to have in the description. You're just going to have to take my word for it, but other people, they're also confirming this, so I don't know. It could just be one big conspiracy, but I doubt this much information is just irrelevant. So Battlebond is going to be a new booster variant, kind of like Conspiracy, and sort of the same idea of being a draft set like Unstable. However, the premise is basically for 2-player teams. It's a 2-headed giant as opposed to just 1v1 tournament settings. So you're going to be drafting, maybe you have a sealed format, whatever you do, and then you have 2 players going against 2 other players. This is going to be coming out in June, so I can't wait. That's right around the corner. I love multiplayer and I love limited, so combining the two I think is going to be fantastic. And I loved Conspiracy, I loved Unstable, so chances are this is also going to be fantastic. And then we have the big important information, especially for this channel. We have a new Commander Anthology, Volume 2. It's going to be released the same day, June 8th, as Battlebond. It's going to be the same thing for previously published decks, this time including 13 premium commanders. I believe last time it was just the face commanders, so Derevi, Kalia, Marin, Freyalise were all premium foils, but the rest I don't think were. So you have all the commander options and the decks are going to be foiled, so I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, we have some awesome ideas here. Obviously, Animar is a pretty expensive card, and reprinting that deck would make it a little bit more affordable. You also have decks like the Jaleva deck, which I believe is the one that had True Name Nemesis. But you could also go for the obvious Atraxa, pretty popular, pretty expensive, harder to get now, and it's only a couple years old, or at least by the time Commander 2018 is going to come around, which this year it's also going to be coming out in August. So like last year, it came out a little bit earlier. It used to come out in November. Now they're having it come out in August. So I'm guessing, since the reason why they did it last year was for Iconic Masters, they were also going to have another Masters series later this year. Don't take my word for it, but that's probably the big reason why they have bumped up the Commander slot up to August, as opposed to hanging it back later in the year. Which brings us to the official confirmed information. We are going to be getting a Commander 2018 edition. Thankfully, we all knew this was going to happen. It's just too popular of a product. They sell too well to not even consider doing it every single year. I've even had the idea of maybe making 2 Commander sets a year. I think that would be pretty cool. But it is going to be, yet again, 4 4 different decks. So the same template, probably going to be themed again. No confirmation on whether or not it's tribal again. Going to be 12 premium commanders, so 3 foil commanders for each deck like we're used to now. And again, it is going to be August 10th. So all this cool information, we have no confirmation on what the actual decks are going to be yet, but we do know it's going to be 4 again. Wasn't entirely sure whether or not they were just going to go back to 5, but I do like the fact that where instead of 5, if you have a play group and you only have 4 people, well, one of the commander decks isn't going to be played. And we've also seen the issue of one of the decks being just terrible and just sitting on the shelves, nobody wants it. So you lower the chances of that happening if you just have 4 of the commander decks and you kind of focus all your energy on 4 instead of 5. It's efficiency, so can't complain too much. Give us more of the decks we want to play with. And then the last bit of information is just the new Planeswalker decks. I don't know why they have this, but it's specifically designed for the Chinese market. I have no idea what that means. Maybe it's a cultural thing, but I have no idea why it's specifically designed for the Chinese market. But there's also going to be a similar English version of the same product that's going to be released the same day, which is June 22nd. So kind of useless information. We knew they're going to keep coming out with these Planeswalker decks. Not really relevant that they have one for the Chinese market. That's kind of laughable, but otherwise, I think this is pretty cool information. Very interesting. Obviously, my favorite bit of information here is the Battlebond, the booster variant. I think that's pretty cool. Not too stoked on the signature spellbook series that they're going to do to replace From the Vault. I'm not a big fan of From the Vault, but this doesn't sound like it's going to be much better at all. Looks like it's going to be something that will probably sit on the shelves again and again. So if this fails, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they experiment with a different type of foiling process. That would be what I would do, or put better cards in there, because apparently From the Vaults have not been doing too well for a while now. I don't have the exact numbers, but all you have to do is just look at the shelves within the first couple weeks of that release, and if they're still sitting on the shelves, if very little has been sold from the vault, you know exactly how bad it really is. You just have such an emphasis on newer products such as the Commander products, draft sets like Unstable, you have Battlebond now, which looks like it's going to be pretty cool. We have no idea of the theme or the setting, so that's all going to be completely different. It might be its own little storyline like Conspiracy was, and like Unstable was a little bit, almost like it's separate from the rest of the multiverse, but that'd be pretty cool. Meet new characters. Who knows, it might take place in the same setting as Conspiracy. It might be a continuation of Conspiracy, but who knows, a spiritual successor maybe. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, this is a pretty massive leak of information. Usually this is something that they would wait to announce themselves, but this is the German website that conveniently leaked it, so I don't know what to think anymore. At some point, you have to just see right through it. It's pretty transparent. This was done just to stir some excitement up. And we also happen to have a little bit of information here. On Core Set 2019, we get to see Nicol Bolas. So do with that information what you want, but I think it's pretty cool. We're going to get another Nicol Bolas, it looks like. Maybe a reprint of Nicol Bolas Planeswalker, or the Nicol Bolas from Hour of Devastation. Who knows? Maybe a brand new one. That is yet another product that I think is going to be pretty cool to have back. The core sets were just sort of a foundation, especially when it comes to standard, just giving you good value cards, and it was a good way to really balance out sets before. Like we have an artifact heavy set like Kaladesh. Well, with the core set, what you could do pretty easily is just put a lot of artifact hate, and it didn't really have to go with any specific theme, because that's kind of how core sets are. You just put some good value cards in there, because you have cards that reference multiple different planes. It's not just all going to be on the same exact plane. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You have cards that are from like Dominaria, you have creatures that take place on Chandelar. You have a whole bunch of different settings for these core sets, so it's not like you have to be restricted to any specific storyline. So I think it's pretty cool. It allows them to insert more options. Balancing out standard is definitely something people want to have happen, especially when you consider all these bans that have happened within the last year or two. Just ridiculous that we've had to have that happen. So core sets returning is definitely a positive thing for the future of this game. So anyway, you guys let me know how excited you are for these products. What is your least favorite product? What is your most favorite product? I think at least 2 of these products are going to be pretty good. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video.